Hi, I'm Martha, and I am a certified death doula. And thank you for joining my channel to listen to Tales of a Death Doula. Today, I would like to talk about one of the spiritual practices that I've been using for the last 3 years, and that is the practice of breath work. And there are several different types of breath work out there that you can do, and you can try them all. And I just wanted to talk to you about some of those modalities and some of the experiences, some of the kind of like almost magical, really intuitive experiences that you can have just by simply controlling the way you breathe and how you get oxygen into your bloodstream. So, wanted to talk about the first kind of breath work that I really learned. That was the 3-part breath. I learned this when I was taking yoga classes in San Diego. And the 3-part breath is breathing into your abdomen, into your lungs, and into your upper lungs. And you take a deep breath, and you can expand your belly as you breathe in, expanding the belly, and then expanding the lungs out to the side, and then taking that last gulp of air to expand the upper lungs. And then you release the breath in the same, in the reverse order. You release the upper lungs, kind of squeeze your ribs together to release the air in the middle lungs, and then you press in the belly to get that last bit of air out. So I'll demonstrate this for you so that you can kind of see how the 3-part breath works. So it's breathing into your belly, into your lungs, last gulp, and then releasing. And this kind of mindful breath of concentrating on your part of your lungs that you're breathing air into really helps kind of calm and center your mind. It helps calm your nervous system. This kind of controlled breathing sends a signal to your subconscious that you're safe, that you have time to concentrate on breathing means you're safe. And so it's really a way to calm your nervous system down. So let's do it one more time. Breathing into your abdomen, expanding those lungs out. Last gulp up, and then release. Squeeze your lungs out. And so that's a wonderful breathwork practice to practice at any time. You can do it while you're doing yoga, or just while you're meditating at any moment. While you're standing in the grocery store line, you can do that. A great way to learn breath work. Another breath work that I learned a couple of years ago was from Wim Hof. Wim Hof is kind of a famous breathwork teacher. He also teaches about regulating your nervous system to with cold and heat. He does a lot of cold plunges, and cold plunges are popular now, primarily because he kind of brought it to the attention of a lot of people. So he also has breathing meditations online where you kind of breathe repetitively without stopping, in, out, in, out, in, out, for a 30 count, 30 breaths, in and out, in and out, in and out. And then at the end of 30 breaths, you hold your breath and try to hold it for a full minute if you can. And then you release the breath out slowly. And he has a lot of videos online. You can check out his YouTube. He has a guided meditation for this breathing technique that he has. And it's a way to hyper oxygenate your bloodstream, this constant flow of breathing. I'll demonstrate his 30 count breaths. You just breathe in and out repetitively without a pause between the breaths. And it looks like something like this. And you'd have that in the constant flow of in and out, not any one longer or shorter than the other. So just in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out for 30 breaths. And then you hold for as long as you can. Try to hold it for a minute. And then you release that breath, and then you do it over. And he does this repeated process 3 times. So 30 counts, hold for a minute, release. 30 counts, hold for a minute, release. 30 counts, hold for a minute, release. And you really feel so much calmer after you do this type of breath work. So check him out, Wim Hof Guided Meditations. I'll try to find the link and put it on the chat in this video. The next kind of breath work that I learned about and that I practice often is called transformative breath work. And transformative breath work changed my life. It's one of the most empowering, intuitive practices that I still do to this day. That is, it can be very transformative if you kind of allow this practice into your consciousness. So I'll tell you about how I found out about it, because it was kind of one of those synchronicity kind of things. Got my hair cut, and my friend who cuts my hair, who's been a long time friend of mine, knows that I'm a very spiritual person, and that I was interested in going on yoga retreats and things like that. And he suggested I contact this lady in Fort Worth who he knew through the beauty industry, who was hosting yoga retreats and doing breath work. And I was like, oh, what's that? I don't know what breath work is really. But I went to a yoga retreat, and it's with the Badass Ladies Club is the name of their company. Lori Wallace and Jessica have a company called the Badass Ladies Club. I'll put a link to that on this channel as well. And in their yoga retreat, they were talking about breath work and how important breath work is to kind of open your third eye and oxygenate the brain and get the calm energy that you need to have true intuitive guidance and true intuitive hits. And so they were going to be hosting a breath work in Fort Worth. So I live in Dallas. Fort Worth's about a good 45 minutes to an hour away. So I drove over to Fort Worth to attend one of Lori Wallace's breathwork classes. And I had such a profound experience in that very first breathwork class. So let me kind of talk to you about what transformative breathwork is and how it functions. In transformative breathwork, you have somebody there who's kind of holding the space for healing, kind of like a shaman almost. Like if you go into a plant medicine journey, you'll have a shaman there to hold the space. And that's kind of what Lori does as she guides these transformative breathwork sessions. And everybody kind of goes around and sets their intentions for what they are wanting to work on or wanting to heal or worried about or wanting guidance on. So you set your intentions, and everybody goes around the circle and proclaims their intentions. And then you lie on a mat, and you lie down, and you put an eye mask on if you want an eye mask. And she plays music that is guided by your chakra systems. So if you know anything about the chakra systems, they are your energy centers that are also scientifically associated with your lymphatic system. So you have nervous lymphatic systems that are also attuned in these very same locations that the chakras are. So you have your root chakra in your pelvis area, your sacral chakra in your abdomen area, your solar plexus in your diaphragm area, and your heart chakra, where your heart is, your throat chakra, your third eye chakra, right here where the pituitary gland is, and your crown chakra at the top of your head. You have another energy, a lot of nervous systems. All of those are related to your endochromatic glandular lymphatic systems. You have major lymphatic clusters in all of these areas, and they release different chemicals, different chemicals associated with those lymphatic systems. And so when you're breathing, concentrating on these different areas, you're kind of releasing different chemicals in your body as you are concentrating on the different chakras. And so the music that you're listening to doesn't have any words. It's just different beats and different tempos and different kind of instruments. So for the root chakra and sacral chakra, you have a lot of drums and very heavy, beats. Boom, 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 boom. Kind of gets your chakras activated in those lower chakras of the root chakra, the sacral chakra, and the solar plexus. Kind of real heavy energy kind of centers that you need to activate to release traumas and difficulties. Your heart chakra and your throat chakra, usually those kind of musical beats are a little bit more around the heart, like bum 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 kind of beats to activate those chakras around heart and loving kindness and speaking truth and speaking your truth with the throat chakra. And then you get up into the higher chakras, your third eye chakra and your crown chakra, that are very angelic and kind of euphoric and very light in their tempos. And so you can kind of, like, as you're laying in your on your mat breathing, you can hear these different tempos and kind of work on the different chakras as you're going through the meditation. And with this transformative breath work, you're also breathing a constant flow of in and out, in and out, in and out, without a pause between the breath. Again, it looks something like this. And so it's that constant in and out in a very rhythmic pattern, in and out. With transformative breath work, you can either breathe through your nose and out your mouth. You can breathe in and out of your mouth. You can breathe in your mouth, out your nose. It doesn't matter. There's not a lot of rules around exactly how you have to breathe. You'll know what feels best for you. You'll get in your own rhythm and get kind of that pattern going, and you'll know which one feels best. This in and out repetitive breathing helps to hyperoxygenate your bloodstream. Why would you want to hyperoxygenate your bloodstream? There's a really good reason, and that is because when you breathe in and out and in and out, hyperoxygenating, put more oxygen in your bloodstream, that extra oxygen goes to your pituitary gland. Your pituitary gland is in the center of your brain. It's kind of located behind your forehead area, and that pituitary gland takes in that extra oxygen and creates more magnesium and dopamine, and it starts releasing these chemicals of magnesium, serotonin, dopamine in your brain. And this is what happens every night when you go to sleep and you dream. Magnesium is primarily the main trigger to tell your brain that it's time to go to sleep and dream. And so as you're hyperoxygenating your body, you're putting more oxygen in, your pituitary gland gets that signal of, oh, heavy breathing, it's time to dream. Now you're still conscious, you're still awake, but you go into a dream state. It's a little bit of a dreamy kind of, you start having like almost visions, and you get into more of an open, receptive kind of theta brainwave state. Just like when you're dreaming, we do this every night. That's why when you're dreaming, some people snore and some people heavy breathe when they're dreaming. They're hyperoxygenating their bloodstream. So as you're breathing in and out and in and out, you're laying on the mat, you're listening to the music, and the music's playing kind of loud to kind of like activate your things. You start kind of getting into this dreamy kind of state, and things start happening. And so Lori and Jessica always say, breathe in this, rhythmic pattern until you are surprised. And I have been surprised so many times in breath work where, I'll go in thinking I'm just going to have a little nap and it'll be relaxing. And then suddenly you might start feeling sensations in your body. It might feel like, like somebody's touching you or something, and then you look around and nobody's there, and it feels very, very real. And it really is activating that third eye to get intuitive guidance on a very real level. I have had many profound experiences with guidance coming through where I can almost feel, it feels like hands are on my body, like pressure, like light pressure, not anything dangerous or bad, but I can feel it feels like my mom is what it feels like. It's like my mother's hands are coming on me. Sometimes I'll feel hands laying on my heart chakra area, kind of helping me expand and open my heart. Sometimes it'll be in the sacral area where it feels like somebody's laying their hands on my body. And again, you look up and nobody's there, and it's just you, and it feels real. In one of my most recent breathwork sessions, I had to put my dog down last month, and it was really sad, and I've really been missing her. And in my breathwork session, while I was breathing, right at the first of the session, lay down and started breathing, just opening myself up to guidance. Oh, I felt my Maggie, my dog, and it felt like she came and she rested her head right here on my shoulder. Oh, it felt so real and so lovely. And it felt like a little visit from her to let me know that she loves me too, and that she's still here with me. I always cry on these videos. I don't know why I get so emotional talking about these things, but it's because it's so beautiful. And it felt so real and such a, I knew she wasn't physically there in reality, but I felt her spirit there, and I could literally feel like her head was on my shoulder. It was so beautiful. And there's, different kind of things that will happen in these intuitive guidance experiences. Sometimes I get heavy downloads of energy, and it feels like energy is just flowing through my body. I can feel it. Feels like I'm getting almost electrocuted, but not in a bad way. But I can feel the energy vibrating. It feels like it's coming straight through my crown chakra and mostly into my heart and solar plexus spaces. And I can just feel the energy. It feels like electricity coming into my body. And so sometimes, you get wild experiences where sometimes I feel like I'm going on a journey. One time I felt like I was going on a magic carpet ride through Egypt, and I could envision I was on a carpet, and it felt like I was traveling with Mary Magdalene. It was on the carpet with me. It's just like dreaming, things that are a little kooky and odd, but it felt like Mary Magdalene was on this magic carpet with me, and we were flying around the pyramids in Egypt with a full moon. it was so magical and wonderful. And then, like, when I really, came out of it, I was like, wow, that felt really real. It felt like I was really on a magic carpet with Mary Magdalene. And so things like that happen that are just kind of like almost like a dream, but you're conscious and you're awake and aware of it. But it's always something to do with intuitive guidance. You always get what you need, and it's just a very beautiful thing. And because Lori Wallace is my intuitive healer who hosts these breathwork sessions primarily, and she's very in touch with the divine feminine aspect of spirituality. And it's just always feels so beautiful. And it feels like I get a lot of feminine guidance in sessions when I have these breathwork sessions with Lori. It just feels like the divine feminine is there. And I get that presence of like a motherly kind of presence. And it's always so beautiful. So that's transformative breath work. And I am also a certified transformative breath work facilitator. So I also facilitate these types of breathwork workshops and sessions that I'm talking about that Lori holds for me. I can also hold those for you. So if you're interested, let me know. Lastly, I want to talk about some guided meditations and some guided breathwork meditations that I've been to recently. There are several that do these kind of guided meditations that are all about releasing trauma, releasing grief, releasing fear, which is so important. And I got a lot out of those breathwork sessions as well. Several that tour the country right now. One that comes to Dallas quite often is Vitality. It starts with a W. It's like spelled like vitality, but it's with a W. And this guy tours the country. So if you have a chance to check him out, his breathwork sessions are really big. They're like 300 people in a gymnasium or something, in a conference room at a hotel or something like that. And they're really big, and you're sitting, you have mats like right next to all these people, and you have 300 people in a room laying on mats. And he kind of guides you. And he's also guiding you through the chakra systems, but he walks you through kind of a guided meditation, walking. It's almost like hypnosis. A guided meditation is very similar to hypnosis. Kind of, walks you down a stairway or down a hallway, and you open different avenues of your childhood and your relationship with your mother, and all these kind of things. And they kind of walk you through processing trauma. They're going through your chakra systems the same way that the music does in the transformative breath work. It's just they're actually walking you through it, talking you through it. And it's a really great way. They kind of encourage you to expel those emotions, let it bubble up and yell. And there's a lot of encouragement to yell and like let it out, scream it out. Ah! And it's really cathartic to do those kind of breathwork sessions where you're everybody in the whole room, you got a room full of 300 people just screaming their lungs out just to get out all of that trauma, any kind of emotional blockages. And you're hearing this guy is guiding you through the whole thing, talking to you about like where your hangups are and what level of chakra you're getting blockages in, and how to kind of work through and push through that resistance. And you do it by screaming and yelling it out, maybe pounding, on the ground or whatever you need to do. And it's the same way in transformative breath work. I've done a lot of screaming and yelling in the transformative breath work. It's just you don't get somebody talking you through it. You're kind of working through it with your guides and your own internal guidance system. And with a guided meditation, you have somebody walking you through it and talking you through. Also, it's got a lot of benefits. I went this year to a session and screamed my lungs out and felt much better after doing it. And so it's a way to kind of just get all the anger and fear and past trauma out of your body. You got to get it out of your body some way, somehow, and consciously getting it out by screaming is another really, really good way to do it. And it's a breath work session. He also has you breathing. You're breathing in and out, and he kind of guides you through when to breathe heavy or when to breathe light and when to just take a pause. And so he's kind of there walking you through the whole thing. So those are several different types of breath work that I myself have practiced. I'm a big proponent of just taking even a moment out of your day to consciously breathe. We don't think about breathing because do it every day, all day. But it's something that is an immediate way to get into your body. We spend all day long concentrating on external things like work and money and time and traffic and where we got to be in the next 2 minutes and what has to happen today and what shoes am I going to wear. All these kind of things that are all external. And who said what to me, in this meeting. All that kind of stuff is external focus. And just by simply, consciously taking a moment to breathe deeply into your lungs, it immediately takes you into that kind of holy space within. That is your own internal guidance. It is God within you, that breath of life, prana, as they say in the yoga studies. The prana means breath of life. And this is available to all of us. We do it every day, all day. And it's so easy to just take a minute and take a few deep concentrated breaths and go within. The last little breath work technique that I'm going to talk to you about, because I just learned this today. And I did it just about an hour ago, and I was like, oh, that really worked. That was nice. It's a concentrated way to breathe, very quick and simple and easy. You breathe in and out and in and out. Again, that repetitive breathing without a pause between the breath. You breathe in and out 13 times. Either through your nose or through your mouth, it doesn't matter. Breathe in and out 13 times. And then you do the same cycle, do in and out 8 times. So 13, 8, 5, 3, 2, 1. So you go in and out 13 times, in and out 8 times, in and out 5 times, in and out 3 times, in and out 2 times, in and out 1 time. So the in and out 3 times would look like this. And then you go to 2. And then you go to 1. So after you kind of work your way down, you're breathing consciously, counting. It's the consciously counting part. That's the trick, right? That's the little getting your mind into your own internal heart space, is counting yourself down into that. So 13, 8, 5, 3, 2, 1, and then just be still and breathe normally. And just kind of that gets you into that heart space. And it also activates that third eye. It gets that magnesium flowing into that third eye that definitely kind of gets your your energy level into your internal guidance system, and can easily calm any situation. You can calm down very easily. And just by consciously kind of walking yourself back into your heart space, you get into that vortex of your heart that is where true knowledge and wisdom lies. And you can just be still and know that you are God, and God is with you, and you are with God in this vortex of your heart space. So that's the last little breathwork trick that I have to share with you. And I just encourage you to take some time, investigate these practices, and if nothing else, just take a few deep breaths at any time during the day. A few deep breaths can take the immediate fear out of any situation. It can give you the pause between the breaths. There's always an immediate pause. Even when you're trying to breathe continuously, there's always a second that you're not breathing in or out. That pause gives the universe time to solution for whatever you need to do in any given situation, in any given moment. That pause between breath is the time the universe to go, okay, you need to do this. And for you to listen, and being conscious, bringing in that intuitive guidance from the breath can consciously make you aware of that intuitive guidance. So even if you're in the most extreme situation, somebody's trying to kill you, or somebody's beating you up, or something horrible is happening, taking that deep breath, even just one breath consciously, can give you that moment of pause between breaths to know what to do, to know exactly what to do, when to do it, and have that intuitive guidance. So whether you're driving in traffic or sitting on a work meeting, on a phone call, or standing in the grocery store line, it doesn't matter when or where. We all have a moment to take a pause, take a breath or two or five. and the more you do it, the more you'll realize that just by simply breathing, you're making yourself aware that God is here, and you are God. God is you. God is within. At any moment, you can find that guidance that you need. I hope you found this information on breathwork helpful. I'll put the links in the description in the video below. If you then enjoyed this podcast, please like the podcast and subscribe. Be more than happy to see some comments if you have any comments on breathwork, and we'll put the links to all of the different various breathwork teachers in the description as well. So thank you for joining me today to learn about breathwork, and I hope that you all have a blessed day. Come back again and listen for more tales of a death doula. Thank you.